Darren to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass.
Gervonta Tank Davis is one of boxing's most outspoken and controversial figures, never hesitating to speak his mind, especially when it comes to the sport he loves. His latest comments have once again stirred the pot, this time involving some of the biggest names in the boxing world. It all started at the prestigious Ring Magazine Awards in London, a night that gathered some of the best-known figures in the sport, including Alexander Usyk, Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shocker Stevenson, Lennox Lewis, and many others. Yet there was one notable absence: Tank Davis. Davis, known for his fiery personality, wasted no time in expressing his frustration after realizing that he hadn't been invited to the exclusive event. His response was both swift and filled with anger. True to form, Tank took to Instagram to air his grievances. He reposted an image from the event shared by Matchroom Boxing, accompanied by a scathing rant. "Why invite only certain people? Stop being fake," he wrote, making his feelings clear. But his anger didn't stop there. Davis turned his ire on Eddie Hearn, a prominent figure in boxing and the head of Matchroom Boxing. "Look at him acting like he's on top now," Davis said, calling Hearn a little rat. Davis didn't mince words, further criticizing the state of boxing by stating that many of the fighters in today's game weren't as good as those from past generations. "The fighters back in the day were better than the fighters today," he remarked, signaling his dissatisfaction with what he perceived as a decline in the quality of boxing talent. But Davis wasn't done just yet. He took aim at another key figure in the boxing world, Torek Alec, the owner of Ring Magazine. Alec had played a significant role in organizing major events in Saudi Arabia, including many under the Riyadh season banner. Tank didn't hold back his thoughts on Alec, accusing him of being out of touch with the sport. "They act like this guy is good for boxing, but he knows nothing about boxing," Davis said. He went on to question why, if Alec truly cared about the sport, he wasn't focusing on developing fighters from his own country. This was Tank's personal, unfiltered way of expressing his dissatisfaction not only with the event, but with the direction in which boxing seemed to be headed, at least from his perspective. For Davis, it wasn't just about feeling left out of a glamorous event. It was more profound than that. It was about a deeper frustration with the politics and favoritism that he felt were permeating the sport. He pointed to the trend of fighters traveling to Saudi Arabia for lucrative paydays as an example of what was wrong with boxing today. "They have to go over there just to make money, and they still struggle," Davis said, mocking fighters who took these deals. He added, "They go all the way over there, get beaten up, and fight in front of like 19 people. But because they're rich, it's okay." Davis made it clear that he wasn't chasing the money. Unlike some of his peers, he didn't feel the need to compromise his integrity for a payday. This commentary wasn't limited to his thoughts on the current boxing climate. Davis also had some choice words for Terence "Bud" Crawford, one of the most respected fighters in the sport. When rumors started swirling about a potential showdown between Davis and Crawford, the speculation caught the attention of both men. Davis, ever the confident fighter, had once boldly claimed that he could knock Crawford out if they ever faced off, even suggesting that he would do it in the 147-pound division. Crawford, on the other hand, had remained largely silent on the matter, choosing instead to focus on his legacy as one of the most accomplished boxers in recent history. However, with Davis' latest outburst, it wasn't long before Crawford decided to weigh in. Crawford's response came in the form of a tweet that quickly went viral. "I see someone is mad they weren't invited to the Ring Magazine G," he posted, adding a series of laughing emojis. Crawford's playful jab didn't sit well with Tank, who fired back with his usual bravado. "You're nothing but a puppet," Davis retorted, accusing Crawford and others of chasing money at the expense of the sport's integrity. He even hinted at his desire to leave boxing behind altogether, claiming that the sport had become too focused on money and no longer had the passion it once did. "This is why I want to leave this behind," Davis stated. "Boxing has become boring. It's all about money now." Davis' frustration seemed to be a culmination of years of feeling disrespected and overshadowed by bigger names in the sport. He made it clear that he wasn't about to beg for recognition or chase money like some of the other fighters who had taken the Saudi deals. He was outspoken, unafraid to call out anyone he saw as part of the problem. It was clear that his beef with Crawford wasn't just personal, It was a reflection of the growing divide between the old-school fighters like him, who were driven by passion and skill, and the newer breed, who were motivated by the financial rewards that came with the sport's commercial success. But Crawford wasn't content to just let Tank's words slide. Known for his sharp wit and quick responses, Crawford took advantage of the situation to further poke fun at Davis. His tweet became an instant hit on social media, and fans from both camps eagerly joined in on the conversation. The exchange between the two fighters only fueled the already intense rivalry. Fans, eager to see the two fighters settle their differences in the ring, eagerly awaited the next chapter in this ongoing war of words. And as expected, Davis didn't disappoint. He fired back with another insult, calling Crawford and his contemporaries puppets, and reiterating his disdain for the direction boxing was heading. The tension between the two fighters has been building for years, even though they have never faced each other in the ring. Both men have been at the top of their respective weight divisions, with Davis dominating at lightweight and Crawford proving his skills in multiple weight classes. Despite the growing animosity between the two, a fight between them seems unlikely at this stage. They compete in different weight classes, Davis at 135 pounds and Crawford at 147 pounds, making it a difficult matchup to facilitate. Yet, in the world of boxing, anything is possible, especially when there is bad blood involved. For now, fans can only dream of what a showdown between Davis and Crawford would look like. Both men have the skills and the confidence to make it a historic fight, but their paths are currently taking them in different directions. Crawford is focused on his legacy, with a potential showdown against another world champion looming on the horizon. Davis, on the other hand, continues to dominate the lightweight division, his knockout power earning him the reputation of one of the hardest-hitting fighters in the sport. Interestingly, not everyone agrees with Davis' outspoken comments, especially when it comes to his criticism of the Saudi Arabian influence on boxing. Tim Bradley, a former champion and outspoken critic of Davis in the past, seemed to shift his perspective after Davis' recent outbursts. Bradley, who has long been critical of Davis' behavior both inside and outside the ring, now seemed to admire the fighter's courage to stand up against the financial forces that are shaping boxing's future. "That's why I respect Tank," Bradley said. "He's one of the few fighters who refuses to compromise his principles for money." While Bradley's newfound respect for Davis is clear, it is not unconditional. He made it clear that if Davis were to accept a Saudi Arabian deal after all his criticisms, he would be deeply disappointed. "If you go over there, take back everything you said, and bow down, then I'll have an issue with it," Bradley warned. But for now, Bradley seemed genuinely impressed by Tank's refusal to give in to the temptation of a massive payday. This shift in Bradley's perception reflects a larger trend in boxing, where fighters are being forced to choose between staying true to their roots or cashing in on the ever-growing financial rewards of the sport. The potential fight between Davis and Crawford remains one of the most intriguing what-ifs in boxing today. While their current career trajectories suggest that the fight may not happen anytime soon, the rivalry between the two continues to grow. For Davis, his rise in the lightweight division and his explosive knockout power make him a dangerous opponent for anyone. Crawford, on the other hand, is focused on further cementing his legacy in the welterweight and super welterweight divisions. But as both men continue to dominate their respective weight classes, fans can't help but wonder if someday their paths will finally cross in the ring. In the world of boxing, anything can happen, and with the ongoing tension between Tank Davis and Terence Crawford, the possibility of a fight between them is far from impossible. Whether it happens at 147 pounds or a catchweight remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: if these two ever face off, it will be one of the most anticipated fights in modern boxing history.